What is up, everybody? Skratch coming up with another Raid Shadow Legends video. We are currently on the test server, guys. We're gonna have a look at the brand new Fusion Champion, the new Dark Elves. I'm very curious to see if the test drive is actually gonna make me change my opinion, if I'm gonna wanna do the Fusion after, or I'm still going to skip it. Before we move over to talk about the Fusion, guys, we're gonna try her in the Clan Boss, Arena, test the damage, Faction Wars. We do have an account giveaway going on. All you gotta do is be a subscriber on the channel, smash a like on the video, and you gotta drop a comment and tell me which one is your most favorite champion in the entire game. Firstly, I want to say a big shout out to Aaron for donating this account for a giveaway, guys. This is a very strong account. You're gonna have pretty much every champion that you kind of like dreamed of to play around with. So if we're gonna have a quick look right here, +3 Septimus, +2 Siphi, we have Leorius, we have Lydia, Venus, Arbiter, Aitos, Mitrala, Cupidus, Hegemon, Tranda, Helicat, Ninja. You have pretty much everyone. Double Duchess, you have Kymar. So many freaking powerful champions in here. Kendraphone. Honestly, pretty much everything that you kind of wanted to have. So how I mentioned, if you wanna enter the giveaway, you need to be a subscriber on the channel, so make sure you subscribe if you haven't just yet. And let me know which one is your most favorite champion in the entire game. We're actually going to pull the winner live on Twitch TV at the end of the week. Okay, so that's gonna happen on Sunday, guys. You have time till Sunday to enter the giveaway. We have quite a few more champions in the vault, actually. A bunch of strong legendary champions, man. Like, definitely a very, very solid account. We have many, many awesome champions in here that you can test out if you didn't really have a chance to play most of these champions out. We have a Martyr, we have that counter-attack bomb champions, unkillable clan boss team, easily sorted, more champions in the reserve vault, the faction guardians. That's actually kind of like the easiest way to see most of the champions. It's pretty decent. We have quite a few legendary champions all around. Not so many dupes from all of them, but definitely pretty solid. Like, check this out. A lot of legendary champions. So how I mentioned, if you want to enter the giveaway, make sure you smash that subscribe, drop a comment, and this will be up for a grab on Sunday on Twitch TV. I'm gonna keep you posted more in other videos. Big shout out to Aaron again for donating the account. Let's move over to the main topic of the video, the Fusion Champion, right? A lot of people think that she's gonna be, wow, amazing. Let me remind you, Hex champions always need setup. So, Maranix. I have a decent amount of accuracy on the champion. I will have to adjust a bit the masteries on her, because I tried her in Clan Boss as well. But basically, I have her built on Savage and Cruel set. The skills, the A1 attacks one enemy 2 times. Chance to place an extra hit if the enemy is under Hex. This goes up to a maximum of 4 hits, so you won't be able to get more than that out of her. The A2, defense down and Hex on all enemies on a 3-turn cooldown. The A3, attacks all enemies, will ignore unkillable buffs and shield buffs if the targets are under a Hex debuff. Places an unkillable buff on this champion for 1 turn if this attack kills an enemy without a Hex debuff. Places an unkillable buff instead for 2 turns if it kills an enemy under a Hex debuff. This skill, a lot of people will be like, this is gonna kill Leorius, it's gonna kill Skull Crowns. Well, you gotta have the Hex. If you don't have Hex, this won't ignore nothing, okay? If you wanna ignore something, you gotta open with the A2. I don't have to remind you that most probably Leorius is gonna take a turn by the time you're gonna rotate to the other skill. Skull Crown is gonna take a turn and wreck you. You're gonna need heavy support to keep this champion alive. Or you're gonna need a Mitrala to set her up. If you have a Mitrala, then most of the Hex champions can be used. Ruel, Thea the Vault Angel, etc. The passive sounds pretty interesting. Will reset the cooldown of the A3 whenever this champion kills an enemy under a Hex debuff. Increases this champion's attack by 5% for each enemy under a Hex debuff. That actually sounds pretty interesting. I'm curious to try this out, to test out the champion. Now, I want to quickly change the masteries, then we're going to talk about total stats. I have this because I tried her in a Bateater comp. What I've noticed while I was doing it is that War Master doesn't proc on extra hits. So if you want that to count, you would probably want to get Giant Slayer for Clan Boss or PvE if by any chance you're planning to use her against bosses. So let's get typical masteries for Nukers, guys. This should bring in a lot of damage. We're actually gonna get this as well. And we're gonna get this right here for the A2. So this should actually pretty much give us a bit of more accuracy, enough to be able to debuff every now and then with 200 accuracy. Total stats, 34k HP, 6.4k attack, 182 speed, 100 crit rate, 281 crit damage. Now, I gotta tell you, these are pretty solid stats for a champion. A lot of you guys probably won't be able to reach these stats in Savage and Cruel. So just as an idea, keep that in mind when you're actually going to see the damage that this champion will drop. So we're gonna quickly test the damage on stage 23 on the dragon. That's kind of like where we're usually taking our damage dealers, right? So we're gonna see what we're getting out of this champion in here. Where is she hiding? So there we go. We don't need necessarily to have an aura, but just to avoid that annoying pop-up. So here we are. Increase this. Get that increased attack. Defense down, weaken. We're actually going to open with the A2, okay? Like this. We're gonna have the hex. We're gonna see what damage we're getting out of this skill. Pretty decent animation. Decent damage on this champion. So we almost one-shot them. Not too bad at all, actually. Comparing her with other nukers, I would probably say that the multipliers are around 4.0 or around there. So it's not that bad as a damage dealer. If you guys don't have Foley, Astrolon, Yannica, Cleopteryx, you can use the champion. If you need a champion for the Dark Elves faction, you need a solid DPS, because you have no Ray, no Foley, no Xavier, none of those champions. You could potentially use her as a DPS for your faction war stage. So, decent damage with the A2. Let's back out of here. Let's bring in Mitrala, actually. And like that, we're gonna have Hex on the enemy, so we can open with the A3. We're gonna get a 25% extra attack from her passive, because we're gonna have a Hex on all these enemies right here. So bang, we got Hex on everybody. This should give us a lot of damage now, right? 25% extra damage. If we were comparing it with A2, this should actually hit pretty damn hard. So let's see what sort of damage we're getting out of here. Okay, we managed to one-shot two of them. I haven't really seen the numbers, but you guys probably saw them better. So again, I would say that probably the multipliers on this skill are at around 4 point or 3 point something to 4.1 or 2. I don't really think it's higher than that. The multipliers do seem to be pretty decent. I don't think this will justify for me to make the fusion, because I won't be able to replace any of my nukers with her. She's definitely not powerful enough to replace any of my nukers. She's not powerful enough, unfortunately, to replace Seer as a wave killer. Thea, the Vault Angel, does bring more damage, and she is a Hex champion coming in from the Doom Tower, so just think about that. You might want to fuse her, you might not want to fuse her. She's definitely not powerful enough to one-shot waves. You're gonna need insane, stupid stats to one-shot this consistently, and it's just not worth it. It's not realistically for 100% of the player base, pretty much. It's just, okay, I'm gonna break my arena team to kill the waves, which is pretty pointless. Nobody's really gonna do it, you know. That's pretty interesting. Now, if we're gonna get over to the boss on the dragon, let's see what we're getting out of it there. You know, we should be able to get that done pretty quick, because we killed enemies with the A3. That skill reset it, right? So we should have that available again if we want to use it. So basically we can do this over and over. Kill, we decrease the cooldown, so we can come back at it having the same skill available again. We don't have that defense down, which is fine. No Hex either, which is not that fine actually. We're gonna start with the A2 because we can land Hex and defense down. Then we can move over to the A3, so we have the defense down. Let's see if we can manage to overlap them. I'm gonna land the weaken 2 now, because why not? And like this, I'm gonna have available the A3 when we get at the boss. We can test it out, but mainly that I wanna see the A1 on the boss, you know. That's why we're going all the way there. So the A3 again. 185, 204k on some of the champions. So not a bad DPS, honestly. I expected it to be a bit lower, but pretty good as a DPS. So if you need a force nuker for whatever reason, it can be a decent option. So let's start with the A3 to see the damage. 207k on the dragon, pretty good. This is stage 23, guys. That's where we're normally bringing in all the DPS champions. Now I really want to try the A1, honestly. Let's see. 1, 2. So we haven't got an extra hit there, unfortunately. Hopefully we're gonna get it now. Hopefully we're gonna get it now. We do have the Hex debuff, so that's kind of like important to make it sure you're gonna have chances to get extra hits. 3 hits this time around. The highest being 97k. So almost 300k. Let's just say 280k damage out of the A1 if we're proccing extra hits, which is pretty good. Let's land the Hex again. 1 to 3 hits again. 78, 98k. Not too bad either. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna get another chance at doing it. We don't need to revive. 80k, 89, no extra hit. It doesn't seem to proc as often, even though I think it's a 50% chance, right? Or it might be higher than 50, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go again. 89, 96, 68. We haven't procced 4 hits just yet. That is the maximum you can get. I've actually tested that in the clan boss. So we've seen that. How I mentioned, War Master won't proc with it, like Fushan, for example. So that's a bit disappointing. You might want to run Giant Slayer on, and that might give you a better outcome. So 3 hits again. Not too bad. She could potentially replace a champion for the Bateater comp. It really depends who you have available. So you're gonna see when we're gonna get to the part with the clan boss. But Maranix, decent damage, you know. So the multipliers on the champion are not bad. If we're bringing in Leorius Leorius can actually be a good example here because he has the gear. He does have slightly higher attack than her. Around 500 more attack. So that's quite a bit. But basically his multipliers are a 3.7 if I'm not mistaken on this skill. So kind of like to give us an idea. You see, so it seems like she might have a 4-point multiplier. I feel like that's where she is with the A2 and A3. Just kind of like to give you guys an idea. Now, a lot of people are thinking that this champion is going to be amazing. She's gonna solo the spider dungeon. No, she's not going to solo the spider dungeons, regardless what stage you're doing, because she doesn't have any Terminator manipulation. She can use the A3 as often as she wants. The Spider Queen is constantly gonna heal and heal and heal and heal, and it's gonna be pretty much game over. So there we go. We land the defense down. We have the Hex. Now we're gonna get to use the A3. We're gonna one-shot everybody. Then again, we gotta use the A2 to make it count, so we can use the A3 to have unkillable on. It's just not going to work. So this is definitely not something that will happen. So we're gonna use this. We killed everybody. We have the unkillable on. The sleep, that's gonna mess us up. You cannot solo the spider with this champion, okay? I'll be well surprised if anyone will ever manage to solo the spider dungeon with Maranix without having Terminator manipulation or HP burn to actually drop tons and tons of damage. Let's take her in for a spin in arena and see what sort of damage we're getting out of this champion. So we're gonna attack this team right here. I don't think we have a lot of stone skin. The whole point of me being on the test server and testing champions is to show you what they can do. If we're just hitting stone skin and we just have RNG, it's gonna be pretty much pointless. It's gonna be an idiotic test, you know. So let's just bring in a champion that will keep her alive. So let's bring in Accurate just in case if we're gonna need it. And then we have Madame Series to strip the buffs from the rest there. There we go. Beautiful. So we have that. And now we can actually... Let's open with the A2. We don't have Hex on, right? 91k on that Duchess. She survived most probably because of a reaction. Decentish damage. I really don't think she's gonna be anywhere near Tranda, Leorius, Baron, and the top nukers. Even Foley is gonna all around bring more to it. Cleopteryx, a much better nuker. The whole idea with her is that she does have 2 AoEs, which can can benefit you quite a bit, you know. So let's try her against another team. Let's see if we find anything that's viable enough, because it seems to be a lot of stone skin all around, and it's kind of pointless because she's not really gonna do anything against the stone skin. Even though you might find it in the actual game too, I really don't think you'll be finding that much around. So we're gonna bring in a Kaimar. That's gonna help us quite a bit here. Where is he hiding? Kaimar, there we go. We're gonna make sure that these champions won't... Actually, they're not faster than me. Interesting enough. So that should do it. We have no defense down, no hacks. Let's see what damage we're getting out of it. So we managed to one-shot pretty much everybody. If you really need a nuker, if you don't have anyone on your account, if you don't have Yannicka, you don't have Cleopteryx, you don't have the other champions that you are getting for free, you could justify to fuse the champion. If you need this champion for your faction wars, which we're actually gonna do a run, let's move over to faction wars. So we have the Dark Elves open right here. Stage 21, just one thing to remember. She is weak affinity, okay? That's one thing that is pretty important to remember. So let's bring her in for a spin. We have all those spirit champions on here, Valkyries, we have Martyrs. Having her as a defense down champion could be decent, but she is weak affinity. So we managed to one-shot everybody there. That's pretty good. Increase attack. And that was with the A3 if I'm not mistaken. So we landed the defense down here again. I can definitely justify fusing the champion if I need a DPS for faction war. So if I wouldn't have any other DPS in my faction war team, yeah, I'm definitely going to be like, okay, I'm going to fuse her because I need her, you know. I want to finish faction wars and get my Lydia. But if you have DPS, you have Foley, Ray, Xavier, etc., I really find it even harder to justify fusing her. She could be decent for early mid-game arena where you have a lot of magic champions. The main thing why I would probably fuse the champion and why I would probably suggest you guys to fuse her is as a faction wars guardian. So if you need a faction wars guardian, because you might fuse this champion and open a shard tomorrow and pull another one. You might summon her right before you fuse her. So then you're kind of like filling the slots in your faction guardians, which could be pretty decent, you know. That could be helpful. But here we are, stage 21's faction wars. I'm very curious to see her total damage at the end, you know. So we have 2 force damage dealers. That was actually a pretty good hit on the boss. I do have a pretty strong team as well, you know. So I have a lot of support to keep her alive. Mitrala is such a game changer for this faction. So we have Maranix with 1.1 million damage, Xavier only with 700k. She killed the waves though, Maranix, so yeah, it justifies it. It makes sense that she is pretty solid in here. Let's move over to the clan boss run. So here we are, guys. We changed the build on her. She is on Relentless and Perception right now, ready to go in the Bateater comp. So basically we have the A1, which can deal pretty good damage. We want to see that on clan boss. We have the A2, which brings defense down. We're actually going to be able to lock this skill. It's going to be pretty pointless. We're not going to need it. The passive is going to give us 5% extra attack on the clan boss. Not a game changer in there. Masteries, we changed them to War Master, counter attack, slightly different masteries, and the total stats: 5.8k attack, 221 speed, 100 crit rate, 248 crit damage, and we have the right amount of accuracy to make it work. So if we're gonna head over to the clan boss, Ultra Nightmare, we're actually going to change Dracomorph in here. We don't need him. We're actually gonna bring her in. And where is she? It's a shame that she doesn't have like an attack aura or something like that. So don't use it. We stop that. The rest should be pretty straightforward. I want to see that A1. I'm curious if we can go over 4 hits, you know. Like Fushan can go for a lot of hits if we have good RNG on him, you know. So we have the defense down. We have the hacks on. I have no toxic sets on any of my champions, guys. So I don't want to look at the overall damage of the team. 60, 50k, that's with defense down and increased attack on the clan boss. Not that powerful, honestly. I would have thought that she's gonna bring a bit of more damage in here. So let's see. She should be able to keep the defense down consistently enough, though. Once we're gonna get to rotate on a 2-to-1 ratio, that's gonna be fine. We're always gonna have that defense down on the clan boss. So there we go. I'm very curious to see if War Master can proc with all of them or no. 55k, 59, 61. One War Master proc only. You know, Fushan has the ability to proc the War Master as well. So we got a counter attack. Let's see. 47, 43, 41. 58, 67, 58. One War Master proc in there as well. She doesn't bring that much damage on the clan boss. Like on the dragon, she was hitting for like 100k. Here, she seems to be pretty underwhelming. I know she doesn't have Savage. She is on Relentless at the moment, but I'm not feeling it very impressive. Only 130k with the A2. So let's see. 65k, 67, 61, 60. Okay, so that brings 240k plus with the A1, which if you take it in consideration like this with all the extra hits proccing, that's actually pretty good. I still haven't seen the War Master to proc with the rest of the hits. If that's the case, Giant Slayer might be the best option for her on a clan boss. Okay, I'm gonna let it go for a few more turns, then I'm gonna fast forward all the way to the end, guys, where we're gonna see her total damage, kind of like just to get a bit of an idea of what she can actually bring to the team. I do have a clan boss tier list with a lot of other champions, and we're gonna be able to rank her on one of those places, you know. If I was gonna use the A3 as well, was really not gonna make such a massive difference. I want to see the A1 is actually better to use the A1 more often on here. I really don't see the War Master to proc more than once though. So I feel like the War Master cannot proc more than once. I might be wrong on that. We definitely gotta do a bit of more testing. I might have bad RNG on it, you know. So 2 more turns, guys, and that's it. We're gonna fast forward to the end after. 65, 63. One War Master proc in there. Yeah, 4 hits, no War Master proc. So I really think Giant Slayer might be a better option for clan boss, because it just doesn't seem to proc more War Master hits, you know. Like this, at least Giant Slayer could have the potential to proc a bit more often, and that will actually increase a bit her damage. But we're gonna fast forward toward the end of the run, guys, and we're gonna see the total damage there. And here we are, guys, turn 49. We are near the end, and we managed to get a 1 key with no toxic sets. The team does have pretty strong stats. We do have a few awakenings on them, not too crazy. They're not like at 6-star awakening or anything like that, but all around I'm very curious to see her total damage. And 100% the War Master cannot proc with the multi hits, so Giant Slayer would probably give her another couple of millions extra in terms of damage. We have Maranix with 23.3 million damage. One thing that I know for sure is that War Master doesn't proc on the A1. Changing that to Giant Slayer, it could potentially increase her damage to around 2 to 3 million extra, okay? If I'm gonna compare her with the other champions that I had on the tier list for the clan boss, as an idea in terms of damage, she does have pretty crazy stats, right? So all around, she should be able to drop in good damage. With the 23 million damage that she has right now, let's just say 2 more million extra from the Giant Slayer in the best case scenario, 25 million damage. She's gonna fit on the 8th place right here. I mean, Rugnor could potentially be better if we're doing more runs. I can't really remember what sort of stats I had on them, but pretty similar with what I have on her right now. So I feel like, yeah, she's definitely much lower on the board comparing her with all these champions. If you're missing all these champions, you could potentially consider to fuse her for your clan boss team if you are running a Bateater comp. If you're not running a Bateater comp, maybe it's not the best decision. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you think of Maranix, guys? I don't think I changed my opinion on her. Let me put it like that. I'm still very, very close to a skip. If the fusion is gonna be easy, I'm probably gonna do it because it's easy, but not because I want to use the champion. If not, I'm just gonna let it pass and I'm just not gonna do it. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. That was all for this video. Much love, appreciate all of you guys watching, and I'll catch you all soon in the next one. Peace.